1 year later, it felt great to be back on a tennis court. Rafael Nadal rallies with Alexandra Ila on anniversary of retirement. Rafael Nadal has returned to the court following his retirement from the sport. However, it is not a return to the professional game. He enjoyed a session with the highly touted Alexandra Ila exactly 1 year after his retirement. In a hugely decorated career where he built up an enormous legacy, Nadal will be remembered as one of the greatest tennis players to step onto the court. He collected an astonishing 22 Grand Slams, with 14 of those triumphs coming on his favorite clay surface at Roland Garros, a setting he was practically unbeatable on in his heyday. He completed the career slam in 2010 after clinching glory in the US Open, joining the legends of the game. His final 2 Grand Slam titles came in 2022 where he won the Australian Open and a record-breaking 14th French Open. He attempted to soldier on but injuries eventually got the better of him. He announced that the final competition he would play in would be at the 2024 Davis Cup Finals in Malaga. He once more represented his country but was unable to get the better of Dutchman Botic van de Zandschulp. Spain would later exit in the doubles, marking the end of what was a glorious campaign from the special Spaniard. Nadal returns to the court. On the 1-year anniversary, Nadal came back to the court with different motives. In a video he posted on Instagram, he was seen preparing to step out onto the court again. He tied his laces, re-gripped his racket ahead of walking onto the court. He would be sparring against Ila, who made huge strides in her tennis career at the Rafael Nadal Academy. They took to the court and had some rallies with Nadal enjoying himself, smiling throughout. Ila took full advantage of this opportunity, attacking the ball and sending a forehand past the 39-year-old before celebrating, which Nadal found the funny side of. 1 year later, it felt great to be back on a tennis court. It was great to practice with you at AlexIla05. Next time I will be stronger, he wrote. Ila destined for top career after breakout campaign. It has been an eye-catching year for the 20-year-old who resides from the Philippines. She started the year ranked outside the top 140 yet ended it in the top 50 after a string of fantastic results. The most unexpected and stunning one came in the Miami Open. She had competed in the event back in 2022 and 2023, losing out in the opening round. Ila would burst onto the main stage with a scintillating run in Florida. She defeated former Grand Slam champions Yelena Ostapenko, Madison Keys and most notably 6-time Grand Slam champion Iga Swiatek in a mesmerizing run to the semifinals. She found herself in a battle against Jessica Pegula in the semifinals, where her incredible run eventually came to an end in a 3-set defeat. Still, a run to a semifinal in a WTA 1000 event is pretty good going. She would later make her Grand Slam debut at Roland Garros, the place Nadal had so much success. Into the grass season, and Ila looked to make more history for her country. She had become the first Filipino to make it inside the top 100 in the rankings, and was the first tennis player from her country to make it to a WTA final. She completed this as a qualifier in the Eastbourne Open. After a very close tie against fellow young talent Maya Joint, a tiebreak in the 3rd set was needed to separate the two. Unfortunately for Ila, she was unable to clinch the title after squandering 4 match points. Her maiden WTA title would eventually come in the WTA 125 event in Guadalajara. She continued to make steady progress in the Asian swing, successfully climbing into the top 50 for the first time in her career. At the end of the 2025 season, she ends the year as the world number 50. It is a bright future ahead for Ila, who has been touted by many to go far in the sport. The late afternoon sun over Manacor painted the clay courts in a warm, nostalgic glow, the kind that softened edges and turned even the simplest moments into memories. Somewhere in the quiet hum of the Rafa Nadal Academy, a familiar rhythm broke the silence. Thwack, 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 the sound of a ball being struck with unmistakable precision. It was the music of a man who had lived an entire life to that beat. Rafael Nadal stood on court 3, shirt clinging to his back, bandana soaked with sweat, face lit with a smile that was part disbelief, part joy. Exactly 1 year ago, on this very day, he had announced to the world that he was retiring from professional tennis. It had been a moment heavy with emotion, reverence, and an avalanche of tributes that could have been a career in themselves. He had promised then that he would never stray far from the sport, but even he hadn't known what it would feel like to return. Across the net stood Alexandra Ila, the young Filipina star he had known since she first arrived as a bright-eyed teenager at his academy. Now 21, stronger, sharper, wiser, and still fiercely ambitious, she bounced on her toes, waiting for his next ball like a cat ready to pounce. "You're hitting too soft, Rafa," she teased, spinning her racket. Muy bien, you want the real thing? Nadal replied, chuckling. Let's see if you can handle it. He sent a heavy, spinning forehand deep into the ad corner, vintage Nadal, a shot that carried history, stubbornness, and a little mischief. But Ila sprinted across and ripped an angled reply that skidded past him. Vamos, she shouted. He clapped. You see? I retire for 1 year and you already want to beat me. She laughed, but behind it was admiration. Nadal's presence on a court was still magnetic, commanding, the kind that made even the empty seats feel like they were leaning forward. A return meant only for the heart. For a year, Nadal had embraced a different life. More time with family. More mornings without alarms. More fishing trips, foundation events, board meetings, and a growing schedule of academy mentoring sessions. But what he missed most wasn't winning, though he would never deny the adrenaline of a battle. He missed the simple act of feeling tennis. The clay under his shoes. The weight of a racket in his hand. The tiny grunt of effort as he slid into a backhand. The sweet sting of a forehand timed perfectly. This was why, when he woke up on the anniversary of his retirement speech, he felt an urge, a pull from something deeper than nostalgia. He messaged Ila at 8 in the morning, Alex, you practice today? I join. Anniversary gift to myself. She replied with 6 shocked emojis and one word, yes. A rally across generations. Now they were 25 minutes into a rally that had grown progressively more intense. Nadal's footwork wasn't the same as the prime years, but the competitiveness remained. Every ball he chased carried the same hunger, the same refusal to let a rally die. Ila could feel it too. She wasn't just hitting with a legend, she was hitting with a mentor whose fire hadn't extinguished but instead had been repurposed into something gentler yet still fierce. Nadal pushed her, not with volume or insistence, but with the example of effort. You play heavier now, he observed mid-rally. You taught me well, she replied. He smiled, sending a drop shot that landed like a whisper. Ila barely reached it, lifting it back. Nadal, grinning widely, charged forward and flicked a volley past her. Still got it, he said, raising his arms in mock triumph. And still celebrating like it's Roland Garros.